we have this thing that hangs over us, where the only goal at Connecticut is to win a national championship.
National championships, milestone wins, superstar players, incredible streaks. It's been 30 years of dominance.
National championship for the Connecticut women.
UConn is the national champion. It's the UConn Grand Slam at the Brickyard.
Despite their success, the Huskies have not been top dog for the past 2 seasons.
Williams for the win. Yes! Ball game over, streak over, season over. Picked up by Collier with 3 for the win. The jump, got it. Irish win.
It's a new season, and UConn's quest for national title number 12 begins today as they welcome in a new look Buckeye squad. Happy Veterans Day. It's Ohio State and number 2 UConn on CBS Sports Network. Of the University of Connecticut in stores as number 2 UConn set to kick off their season against the back-to-back Big Ten champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Great to see you. It's great to be with you alongside Debbie Antonelli. My name is Ben Holden. Debbie, this UConn team kicking off the season. They've won 22 straight season openers. The thing that might be bothering them a little bit, they haven't won the national title in 2 years.
You know, it's like that little pebble in your shoe that kind of is a little of a distraction. Look, expectations are very high here. It's fun to be here today to watch this group of UConn Huskies march towards their 12th potential national championship.
That is certainly the goal for Gino Auriemma and his team, and they have a big 3 as good as anyone in the country. Tell us about them, Debbie.
Well, that 6'3", Katie Lou Samuelson, a senior. Nobody shoots it with the kind of range and depth that she does. She can make every shot offensively. She's a dynamic offensive player. Nafisa Collier is their all-around best player. She scores it. She can rebound. She handles in transition. Had a great summer with USA Basketball. Crystal Dangerfield at the top of their defense or on the top of their offense is their facilitator and a scoring mentality.
And she is fun to watch. She gets up and down the court in a hurry. Let's shift our attention now to Ohio State. Talk about them. Mentioned they won the last 2 Big Ten championships, but they have a lot of new faces this year.
This is a totally different look for Ohio State. They've got 5 graduate transfers. I'm calling them the Barnstormers because they're barnstorming their way through college basketball. They all took advantage of a rule where you can go and transfer and be eligible right away as a graduate student. They're getting their master's degrees at Ohio State. They're taking their games to another level.
See how they do here today against UConn. The Huskies have won all 4 of the previous meetings against Ohio State. UConn's won 22 straight season openers. We'll see what unfolds here on the 2018-19 season after this. Well, Connecticut has played 1 game. It was an exhibition game, a 96-30 win over the top team in the NAIA in Vanguard last week. A little bit of a tune-up for them, Debbie, to get ready for the real journey that begins. And Kevin McGuff in his 6th year, outstanding record, back-to-back Big Ten champions. But as Debbie told us in the open, a new look team, a bit of a barnstormer team. As Debbie mentioned, a lot of transfers on his team, and they're 1-1 on the season so far. Their lineup, who grabs your eyes, Debbie, in this this graphic here of the starters for both teams?
Well, for Ohio State, Carmen Grande is their senior point guard. She has the active assist record right now in college basketball, men and women. So she's a great distributor of the basketball. And watch for Kristen Williams, a #1 rated recruit in the country. She is a terrific freshman for Coach Auriemma.
Indeed, Gino Auriemma, of course, last December went over the 1,000 win mark. A game you probably did, right?
I did that game here.
Oklahoma.
It was fantastic.
Yep, we reached that milestone, and I mean, it would take us a half an hour to go through all the accolades that Gino Auriemma has. And UConn, last time they opened the season not ranked #1. You saw it's been a while, and the opening tip controlled by Ohio State. And there's Carmen Grande, who you mentioned, Debbie, 706 assists in her career.
Well, she has to take care of the basketball. You've got to try to control the tempo somewhat. The best way to do that is you've got to make shots against Connecticut's defense.
Not an easy task. Carly Santoro with it, gave it up there to the product of Hungary and got it back, and it's spit out. Good rebound, though, tracked down by the Buckeyes. What's key in this game early for Ohio State in this environment, in this venue?
Well, that possession right there, if they had scored, that would have been perfect. They got side-to-side ball movement, they got inside the zone and against the man, and they got a good shot outside the arc.
And there's a steal taken away by Megan Walker. Megan Walker, nice move, and the first points of the season for UConn are up and through, courtesy of Megan Walker. And Walker nearly had another swipe, deflected out of bounds, just to our left.
You can't afford to get the live ball turnover against the Huskies. Their team speed is terrific. Megan Walker doing a great job of finishing. You have to take care of the basketball. This will be their third shot opportunity. Yeah. Okay, you cannot turn it over.
Opening 2 minutes of the first quarter. Move there from Miller, and she turned it over. Going into the scoring table, and that will not make head coach Kevin McGuff happy.
One of the advantages that I think Ohio State would have would be going inside against the freshman on the interior, Dorka Juhas.
Yeah. 6'4" freshman out of Hungary.
Put some pressure on the interior against Connecticut's D.
And Samuelson doing what she does from downtown, knocks it down.
There's very few players in college basketball that every time they shoot it, you think it's going in. But Katie Lou is one of them.
Here's a try from downtown, and countering and answering there is Miller for Ohio State. Samuelson, she goes down inside. Walker, easy bucket.
And you have to make sure you get back. After you score, you can't give up a layup. It allows UConn to get their momentum going with their full court pressure.
Here come the Buckeyes. They're 1-1 on the season. Taken away by Katie Lou Samuelson. She gives it up. Dangerfield with a left finishes for UConn. Timeout, Ohio State. 9-3 UConn early on.
3 turnovers for the Buckeyes in the live ball situation allows UConn to get the transition game going. You can't guard this. This is too easy. Good timeout by Kevin McGuff early.
7:45 remaining in the opening quarter, a 9-3 lead for UConn. 7 of their points, Debbie, have come off of turnovers here in the early going. Jam-packed Gamble Pavilion here on this.
Nafisa Collier, as the season moves on, cannot commit. She is a player, because of their depth, needs to be on the floor. She picks up one about 50 feet away from the bucket.
Guys with the basketball, trailing by 6. Carmen Grande, a standing start to her college career at Ball State. Miller trying to work it inside against Collier. No easy task, but it's Michaela Waterman, their most experienced player. That's the bucket.
She's a graduate transfer, but she just happened to get her undergraduate at Ohio State.
Exactly.
So she's not a transfer, actually.
Collier inside answers to make it 11-6 UConn.
Grande doing a really nice job of drawing 2 against the full court pressure and then reversing the basketball. That's how you get the ball up the floor.
He's defended right now by Kristen Williams. And inside is Miller with the basket to make it 11-7.
Collier catches it that deep with 2 feet in the paint. It's too tough.
Kicked away by Katie Lou Samuelson. And the first substitution of the day will be Aaliyah Patty, checking in for Ohio State. Patty with a game-high 16 points against Detroit in their win on Friday. We're back inside of Gamble Pavilion. We apologize for our technical difficulties. We've worked those out with Debbie Antonelli, all of our crew. My name is Ben Holden. As Carmen Grande for Ohio State can't finish, her team down by 6. Samuelson, Collier. Samuelson tipped it, but into the hands of Carly Santoro.
UConn does a terrific job getting back to set up their defense.
Williams on the ball. #1 recruit in the nation is Kristen Williams. 13 in white.
Kevin McGuff, the head coach for Ohio State, looking for a foul on that. And see what happens if you don't get the call. You give up a transition 3.
Right on cue, Kristen Williams, 5'11" freshman from Little Rock, Arkansas, knocks it down. Grande surveying.
UConn doing a good job matching up, switching up their defense between zone and man. There's a switch on the top.
Williams trying to stay with Miller. Miller double team, tough shot, didn't go, rebounded by Walker. Here comes Dangerfield. A human fast break. Love watching her play. Got it to go off the window.
That's one of those, no, yes. What an environment here today.
This is incredible.
Yeah, those passes aren't going to work against the quickness on the back row.
Walker lobs it up, and Collier trying to finish it. Grande comes away with it. Got numbers if they want them. Lays it back to Santoro, and she sticks it from downtown.
Importance for the Buckeye confidence. You got to stay within single digits right here. We've only played 4 minutes, but UConn has the ability to go on a long run.
Collier trying to kick it out, knocked away. Waterman gets it into the hand of the point guard, and it's Carmen Grande. That one's blocked by Katie Lou Samuelson.
I like the idea of attacking Katie Lou on defense, though.
Yeah.
You have to go right at Katie Lou Samuelson and Nafisa Collier. They're too valuable to every aspect of UConn's game. If you can get into their depth, that's what you want to try to do. It's just a 6'3", the length. You look at the eyes up the floor. It's a good take by Katie Lou Samuelson. Now we know she's not going to miss any free throws.
She's 83.8 in her career.
It's absolutely beautiful. All you young players out there watching right now, you want to know how to shoot the basketball, break this down. She's got a rhythm and a routine. She's going to take a couple dribbles, 4 dribbles, and then her eyes on the rim, and she follows through, elbow under the ball. It is textbook.
Yes. You know what else I like about her? She wears the number 33 because of Larry Bird. Old school, I like the mentality. Takes the charge there, and Samuelson doing it all. Although she's slow to get up, writhing in pain. Took that one right in the stomach.
Well, she took a tough shot right here, but this is a nice defensive play by Katie Lou Samuelson. We've called her name out a couple of times here. You know, she's had an injury-filled career, and you don't want to see anyone get hurt. But that was a tough shot right there in the breadbasket.
Indeed it was. She'll come right back. In the corner, great rebound. Williams, the top recruit in the country with a couple of nice buckets for UConn. It's 22-10.
I watched Kristen Williams practice yesterday, and I wouldn't call it a first step. I'd call it a first thrust. She's that fast.
Explosive. Skip pass into the corner. Trying to go inside. Walker, who's been all over the place with a couple of steals already. But Ohio State will keep it there.
It's just good interior passing. Watch the rebound on the weak side. Good crash.
Your favorite player, LeBron James. And Dangerfield with those quick hands, trying to get it away there. But it's a foul call. Burnett, our referee, Jeffrey Smith, and Tasha Kami as well. There's Gino Oriemen, his 34th season here in Stores. Just remarkable.
I mean, let me tell you, Ben, yesterday I sat here right where we are today, watched practice. It is a clinic.
Yeah.
It is. He's not just a great teacher. He's an excellent communicator of exactly what he wants. And of course, he has incredible vision about where he thinks this team could be.
Always fun talking with him. Turned over, and it goes over to UConn with 3:07 to go in the opening quarter.
At least it's a dead ball turnover, and you can set your defense.
Right. Way to bring Juhas back into the game. The product of Hungary. Next stoppage on the run. Patty inside. Trying to follow up her big game Friday, the win over Detroit Mercy.
I mean, look how quickly UConn gets to the other end. Their conversion is fast.
Yes, it is. Williams missed. Rebound pulled down inside by Janae Cruz. Cruz still has it. And Samuelson thought she had drawn another foul, but they say no. Well, we got a chance. Want to remind you today at 4 Eastern, the world's toughest Cowboys ride for one last time this season. Find out who will lift the golden buckle and finish as the 2018 PBR World Finals champion right here on CBS Sports Network. Three fouls on the Huskies, 2 on Ohio State. Grande, a little 16-footer. Tracked down though by Dangerfield. UConn's got the hands on it, and it was blocked away inside nicely by Crooms. Crooms watched by Williams. She got screened on the play. Patty too much on that 3 attempt in the corner. UConn couldn't get it away. Connecticut. Collier. And she draws contact inside, and Kevin McGuff arguing for a foul call, but he won't get it.
UConn doesn't need an outlet pass. They all can handle off the glass. Ohio State forced to shoot some deep threes. There's long rebounds that come with that. It just ignites their transition game.
Number 24, Nafisa Collier.
Look at Nafisa Collier.
She had a terrific summer, Ben, with USA Basketball. Actually, this spring, the fall, when they went on their quest for the World Cup, she was the only college player they retained on the roster, and I thought her summer was outstanding. She's worked her conditioning. She's got a better handle. We've already seen her get it off the glass and go. She's worked on her shot to improve her range. I think her draft stock has changed from the summer, and I know she's going to have a great year.
All the teams she's been on with USA Basketball never lost. 28-0 on all the teams she's been on with USA Basketball. Just amazing. Here's Santoro, a little floater off the glass, and it goes to make it a 12-point game.
See, that's perfect. You throw the skip, and then you look to attack immediately. It's a nice play by Santoro.
That's for the end from Bowling Green, who's there 3 years, and a blow by there, and to the bucket goes Michaela Coombs.
Just a great read off the screen. See, Coombs is a player who can really add to UConn's depth because she can add on the defensive end and she can score in transition.
Santoro trying another one from downtown, but foul called over the back there on Dorka Juhans.
Watch the way Coombs sets up this play right here off the screen. And she is a player that you right now go underneath all that action. You don't go over the top, but she's quick enough that if you don't go under and beat her to the spot, she's going to get to the rim.
5 games she played in a year ago. And off the bench for UConn.
UConn has not had to run very much quarter-court offense in this first quarter.
Called inside. Inside Adriana Miller. So Katie Lou Samuelson, 4th all-time. UConn history at 83.8 at the line. She's 3 of 3.
She's what I call a ticket-selling player. You know, I've hashtagged that all season because there's not a shot she can't make. She's crafty, she's skilled, she's got great range, 6'3" with her size. You know, she had some surgery on that shoulder in the offseason. She's had some foot issues as well. But you know, her ability to play with some toughness this year is going to be a big factor again for UConn. It always is.
In her college debut against Ohio State, and the last time they met, 2016, she had 26 points.
That's a really good job by Santoro of cutting to the basketball.
First personal, third, 2000.
Santoro, a season ago, averaged nearly 13 a game in the MAC for Bowling Green. She's number 10. Ohio State State. So the basket was in the buckets Ohio State really needs to make, and Janae Crooms couldn't get that one to go.
They're outletting to their 5-player.
Right. Walker, strong.
Great take. Terrific in transition. I mean, how many teams can do that?
Not many. Can you think of a couple more?
I don't think Kim Mulkey is outletting to Kalani Brown to dribble the ball up the floor. She's their 6'7" center.
Right. 9 seconds in the quarter. Tough shot didn't go. And the buzzer goes as Grande can't get a shot away. UConn up 18 after 1 as they open their season here. The #2 team in the land, the UConn Huskies. Katie Lou Samuelson and company off to a great start on top of Ohio State, 30-12 after 1. Chris Daly was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 2018. She is one of the first assistant coaches to earn a spot in the Hall in 33 seasons in stores. The associate head coach has been instrumental in building UConn into an unmatched national power. And head coach Gino Auriemma, the duo has led the Huskies to 11 national championships and 47 conference titles. Debbie, you know her very well.
Yeah, she's great. She puts the first in class here at UConn.
Yeah.
She cares about the players and the people first, and she's so unselfish about her role, and she is a big part of teaming with Coach Auriemma and why UConn is such a dynasty and why they've been so successful.
Yeah.
You just look at the 11 national championships is just phenomenal, and she was honored pregame today, so it was pretty cool.
Congratulations to Chris, and just part of many reasons why this UConn team is as good as they are. 11 national championships, the total team effort. Second quarter underway, UConn on top by 18, and Dangerfield gets that one to go, driving inside.
I mean, just so quick, low to the ground, controls the ground for UConn, handles the ball, doesn't turn it over, and can score at the top.
Ohio State, to end the first quarter, made one of its last 9 field goals. UConn ended the quarter on a 6-0 run and a 12-2 run over the last 4:05.
It's a great job getting the ball inside UConn's defense. You just got to be prepared to make a play. This is how you get it inside off the bounce.
Yes.
What a terrific job by Crystal Dangerfield.
First team preseason All-American Athletic Conference pick. She's a good one. So too is Collier. Back to Dangerfield.
Both teams start the quarter in zone.
Samuelson tries it up top and sticks it from downtown.
Look, at the top of the scouting report is know where 33 is. You can never lose her on the offensive end of the floor. She is too talented. Look at the range. Look at the rhythm. UConn pulling away.
Well, beating UConn is a rarity, and it took overtime the last 2 Final Fours to make it happen back in 2017. Mississippi State did it, snapping a 111-game win streak. It was deja vu last year as Notre Dame did it, 91-89. And I love this, Debbie, the coach's conundrum for Notre Dame and UConn.
Yeah, it used to just be UConn. Now Notre Dame I've added to this list. These are all the decisions a coach has to make on a game plan. Do you send 2 or 3 to the glass? Do you get back? Do you help on D? Do you give up 2s or 3s? Do you make them play off the dribble? Okay, you got to make them play off the dribble. Do you play man-to-man or zone? What kind of tempo do you play? I mean, coaches have to make these decisions all the time, but when you play UConn or Notre Dame, you've got to make all those decisions because they're that talented.
No doubt about it. Shot clock under 10. Nice work by Carmen Grande there on the reverse to finish. And Samuelson got fouled there by Grande on the 3-point attempt.
Grande does a great job coming off the timeout, attacking the rim, keeping her dribble alive. We know she's a great passer, but she creates a little space and attacks Collier on the baseline. And then coming back, here's the danger, and one of the things that's really tough to defend with UConn. Everyone says sprint back on D, and everyone sprints back to the paint.
Yeah.
You can't do that against UConn and Notre Dame. You've got to sprint to the 3-point line. You got to make sure you cover and run. You've got to run, and you've got to find 33.
Couldn't believe she missed that one. First one she's missed today at the line. 37-14, UConn on top.
That probably means she'll shoot 300 after the game in the practice
this
game.
afternoon. Inside, and good work in there by Michaela Waterman to get the bucket to go.
So the last two baskets for Ohio State have been attacking the rim. Good adjustment by Kevin McGuff off the timeout.
Yep. You said that's what they needed to do. Here's Nafisa Collier, kicks on into the corner to Williams. Williams, no good. Walker, great work inside by Megan Walker, a former #1 recruit herself.
And Kevin McGuff wants to know how that's not over the back.
What'd you think?
It's just the length. I think Santoro was in good position, but I think the length. Now see right there, that could be a foul on Kristen Dangerfield.
Dangerfield out on the ball against Jensen Coretti. Santoro, a little push there on Samuelson.
I like that call right there as well, because Katie Lou Samuelson moves her feet, beats the dribbler to the spot. Now watch this right here. Do you see separation there? I don't know. That might have been a foul on Megan Walker. I think she got her on the arm. Yeah, I definitely think that is like the defensive back not turning around and looking for the ball.
Right. I like the mix of football in there.
Well, you had a big game yesterday, Ben.
Hey, Army keeps winning.
I watched a little college football yesterday myself.
Dangerfield missing from downtown, and traveling call on the Buckeyes. They can't afford that. Adriana Miller turned it over for Kevin McGuff's squad. McGuff in his 6th season, back-to-back Big Ten championships.
Look, it's a different time for him this year, and you know what? It's going to be okay, because I'm watching Ohio State, and I've watched them on film. They are much better in person, and they've got the ability to play inside a game plan. It's not dominant Kelsey Mitchell like it's been in the past.
Yeah. So
There's
they
some good young players, Ben.
Yes, they had to replace all 5 starters, lost 93.3% of their scoring, the highest in Division I. I mean, that's a lot to overcome. I mean,
Kelsey Mitchell is the 2nd best scorer in the history of the game.
Right.
She's the best 3-point shooter in the history of the game. That's a lot of offense to lose.
Right.
3 WNBA players on rosters came off this Ohio State team from last year.
Right. Coombs back in the game for UConn.
Lene Harper and Stephanie Mavungo were the other 2.
Some talent. Early in the season, they go inside of the product of Hungary there. Juhas couldn't get it to go off. Back-to-back double-double games.
I know Juhas is a freshman, but right there, she's got to bury Collier in the rim.
Rebounded by Miller. Ohio State's turned it over 11 times. UConn twice. UConn with 16 points off those turnovers. Here's Grande, double team, trying it anyway. Waterman coming in. She knocked it out of bounds, though. It'll be UConn basketball. Not many empty seats here on opening day here at Gamble Pavilion. To watch their beloved UConn Huskies here.
Waterman with a good box out. Yeah, I think that shot's too quick.
There she is again. The pass to Juhas, and she can't get that to go. Those got to go for Ohio State.
It's a couple of shots right at the rim. You know, when you don't make a layup like that, it's like a turnover.
UConn just turned it over there. Here's Grande. One-on-one with Coombs. Nice spin move, and Grande missed it, and the follow-up did not go, but Coombs drew the foul.
I think Carmen Grande is going to quickly learn how to adjust her game offensively. We know she's a great passer for Ohio State. Well, I think she's going to learn how to adjust her game going against longer, more athletic players that she's going to see on the schedule for Ohio State, including the Big Ten.
First one good. A couple fresh bodies into UConn. Take Samuelson out. Coming up up on AT&T at the half. We'll send you back to New York, where Brent Stover sits down with UConn senior Nafisa Collier. Her grandfather was a key contributor in Sierra Leone's history. And they'll talk about how that shaped her as a leader on this UConn team, plus highlights and a whole lot more coming up on AT&T at the half.
Brent and I did that game last year where Gino got his win number 1,000. It was fun. Hey, Brent, hope you're having a good time in the studio today. I know you are.
39-17 UConn. Coming up on 5 to play in the second quarter. First call down low. Gino Oriema looking on. Foul on Walker. Here's Grande again, had it stripped away. Collier. Dangerfield, good! Beautiful Dangerfield from deep.
It's just the way you play in transition. Your point guard gets to the rim and doesn't score. And here's a mistake by UConn on defense. Get a wide open three.
The guys couldn't capitalize there. That was Naja Queenland that missed it.
Watch Grande right here. She's the point guard, okay? She turns it over or gets it blocked. Okay, no one stops the ball. Look at Collier. That's your 5 player. Handling in transition. Terrific transition basketball by UConn.
Waterman. Another one inside. The Buckeyes can't get to go, and now it's Dangerfield against Grande. Kick out Williams. A try from downtown. Checked down by Carmen Grande.
Ohio State's got to make some shots in the paint.
They do. They're 0 for their last 7 field goals. They can't get it inside there through the double team of Samuelson and Walker. Coombs, little floater, won't go. And they're going to call it for the foul.
Good job by Grande to step in and draw that charge. Tell you what, Carmen Grande is a player that we're going to talk about a lot this season. There's too much time right here that Coombs has got to pull up and shoot that short jumper. Too much time and distance. Carmen Grande could have had a cup of coffee. She could have had a grande while she was standing in there.
Well done, well done. I'm a big coffee guy too. Back up top to Patty. Into the corner. Crooms against the freshman Williams. Crooms too strong, rebounded inside. Good work in there. Another one that won't go for Ohio State. That was Waterman that missed it again.
I don't know how that one didn't go in. This quarter, I think Ohio State has missed what I would call 4 layups.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Dangerfield. Now Walker. Good step and good finish from Megan Walker.
Strong.
She's got 13.
Quietly.
Yes, leading the charge. Samuelson with 12, Dangerfield with 9. Grande into the traffic inside. And foul call. Walker didn't like it. Here's a look back, Debbie.
Okay, watch this right here. Off the elbow, straight line drive. 2 dribbles, off 2 feet. Great balance with a little contact. Eyes on the rim. Not even thinking about a challenge.
Walker played 15.5 minutes a game a year ago. Averaged just a touch under 6 points a game. Having a great start to the 2018-19 season here today so far. Another one in tight. The Buckeyes can't get to go. The rebound, and they'll draw the foul as Queenland. Naja Queenland drew the foul inside.
And Naja Queenland from Pacific. She's another one of those 5 graduate transfers that came to Ohio State. There's 6 total.
Yep.
Kayla Waterman already has her undergraduate degree from Ohio State.
84 games played, 39 starts for Queenland in her 3 years.
I'm going to start, I have started hashtagging it Barnstorm, but I think they should make some t-shirts. I think that Ohio State has plenty of money. They can make a set of t-shirts that we can distribute as a promotional campaign in Columbus called the Barnstormers. I think that should be their name. I'm just calling them that right now, labeling that. And people that don't know what that is when players graduate from college, they would barnstorm the country playing in exhibition games. Well, obviously, they're not playing in exhibition games. They're playing, and they're not making money for playing in the games. But that's the concept.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. If Kevin McGuff doesn't make some T-shirts, I'm going to make my own. I'm sending it right there, Kevin. I know you can make some T-shirts, and I expect you to send me one in the mail.
Did you mention that to him in
I
your
will.
pre-game conversation or not?
But text him after the game.
His team needs to get going shooting it. They're 0 for their last 10 in 5.5+ minutes. Grande trying to change that. No good. Samuelson the board. Up on 2 to play in the half. Dangerfield, not sure what she was trying to do there.
Yeah, she lost the ball and was out of control.
Simply put, okay.
Usually she plays everything, does such a great job playing on balance. I think she was hoping Collier was going to roll.
That was my first thought.
That's the right call.
Yeah, yep. So the Buckeyes down 44-18. Fifth meeting between these two teams. First was back in 2010. They played that one, the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Foul call that goes back to UConn with 2:02 to go in the half.
Out of control. Now, you're going to say she didn't fall, okay? Kyla Irwin, watch here. She's in great defensive position. She absorbs the contact. That's the right call.
I agree with that.
She didn't have to fall to draw the charge.
I agree with that.
Well, you're going to say that. I just said you were. But, I mean, people at home.
I honestly felt that way. I did. It's a fine art, as you know. Taking a charge. Collier.
What a great, that's a great backdoor cut.
Yep. Nafisa Collier. Extending the lead, 46-18 now with 90 seconds to play in the half. Patty had her best game in her freshman year, just 2 games in, with 16 the other night against Detroit Mercy. No good on the try by Coretti from downtown. And the Huskies have the ball again. Samuelson downtown, short.
Okay, Katie Lou missed a free throw, and now she shot an air ball. What's happening? That's a great backdoor cut by Collier.
Grande's checked out of the game for Ohio State. All handled now by Carly Santoro.
But that play right there where she comes behind that dribble handoff to shoot that 3, that is really hard to guard, and they run that a lot for her. Got to reverse the ball to the other side of the floor.
Waterman trying it inside, and again can't get it to go. She has got to be just frustrated out of her mind. Look at this pass, and the finish from Collier. What a play by UConn and Katie Lou Samuelson.
Is that 6 shots in the paint?
I believe it is, yeah.
So see, that's like a turnover.
Yep.
Because it's like a live ball turnover when you miss a shot that close to the basket against UConn. Because their speed and their transition, they are gone. Okay, watch right here. Michaela Waterman does everything right. She doesn't finish the play. So now look at Katie Lou, eyes up. Nafisa Collier is ahead of the ball, ahead and behind the defense.
You used a football term earlier. I'm going to use one. That was a drop in the bucket, that pass. That was perfect.
That's beautiful.
I mean, that was textbook. And those are the kind of things you see with this UConn team and many others. Just the precision and the way they play, just the right way they play. Fundamentals are what I'm so impressed every time I do one of their games.
Well, practice is a clinic, and I hear Coach Oriema saying, if you don't cut hard, you're selfish. If you don't screen well, you're selfish. If you don't talk on defense, you're coming out of the game.
Right.
It's pretty simple.
It is.
And it matters. It's great value to your offense.
Yep. Final second, Samuelson inside, can't get it to go off the hands of Irwin. Tracked down by Carly Santoro. Looks up the clock. Santoro double team, kicks out. And another foul call, this one on Santoro for the charge.
Santoro right here just a little bit out of control, had the right read. Kristen Williams steps in transition.
So 4.2 left in the half, and Grande, who's checked back in there, involved in the play.
Well, we've had a lot happen in the last 9 seconds.
We have. Going back to the other end to shoot free throws.
Buckeyes are now over the limit.
It'll be Kristen Williams, top recruit in the country.
13, Kristen Williams.
Little Rock, Arkansas. Youngest of 6 in her family.
Here's what I've loved about her first half. She's let the game come to her. She hasn't taken a bad shot. She hasn't tried to take over. When you're the #1 high school recruit in the country, you know you come with an incredible offensive package. She is patiently letting it come to her.
She certainly has, and at the buzzer, Grande couldn't get it to go. Ohio State 0 for 14 shooting it the last 8 minutes. And Gino Auriemma's squad on top, 49-19 at the half. That's the end of the first half as UConn opens its 2018-19 season. Looking good so far. Stay tuned for AT&T at the half. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network.
Welcome to AT&T at the half between Ohio State and UConn. Growing up, UConn senior forward Nafisa Collier always heard stories about her grandfather, a UN ambassador and key contributor in Sierra Leone's history. It was a legacy that helped her grow into a leader on and off the court.
My name is Nafisa Collier, and this is my story. My grandfather was the first permanent representative of Sierra Leone to the United Nations. He helped Sierra Leone negotiate independence from Britain in 1961.
Right now, probably the most brutal conflict in the world is the civil war in Sierra Leone.
A civil war in 1991 moved my father to the U.S., settling in Missouri and starting a family. He was really, in the White House talking to a president. It's something that you don't think about every day, but when you take a minute to really grasp the magnitude, it's something that's really amazing. When you picture the powerful people in history, my grandfather is one of them, and I'm directly related to him, so it's pretty powerful.
My dad's role in Sierra Leone always made me very proud. It was something we were always aware of. Getting independence in Sierra Leone is something that we focus on all the time. And him being one of the 3 signatories to Document of Independence was always cool and something to be proud of.
We joke around that Fee is a princess of Sierra Leone, and I never actually knew what her grandfather did. I just knew it was something important, and finding all this out, it's really cool to know and kind of see it all makes sense now. She's trying to do a small version of that with our team and with what we're trying to accomplish this year.
I do see a lot of my dad in Nafisa, and the way she comports herself, the way she plays. She has that quiet determination. She walks quietly with a big stick, and it's fun to see, the way she dominates her sport, but in a quiet and efficient manner.
Her sophomore year, I thought, was the time when she was probably a leader. I don't think Fisa got up in the morning and went, you know what, this year I'm going to become a leader. I don't think it's anything that she decided. I just think it's a role that she took on because she felt like, I can.
Nafisa is a very quiet leader. She really leads by example. She lets her actions speak for her leadership. This year, Gino has really kind of asked her to step out of that comfort zone and to be more vocal.
It's hard to get her to say much, and yet she has the respect of her teammates and the coaching staff, which to me is more important.
A lot of people ask me how I feel about Nafisa playing basketball, and I think it's more of a change for other people. This is something we've always done.
The first conversation I had with Gamal, Fisa's dad, he wasn't caught up in the basketball part of it, like unfortunately so many parents are. I think he was looking more at, I want Nafisa to grow from a high school girl to a woman ready to enter the world.
As a senior, I try to lead by example, and I try to be the person that you know, you can come to if you're struggling and help you when I see you struggling. Hopefully it would make me a good leader.
Basketball has just been one of the many things Nafisa's been interested in growing up. So that saying, ball is life, I'm not sure Nafisa would say the same.
She carries herself as if there's something beyond basketball in her life. And whether that's genetic, you know, handed down from her grandfather, whether it's her father directly, that's a reflection of her heritage.
Nafisa has never been to Sierra Leone, but she hopes to make her first trip with her father to his home country next December. We'll send you back to Stores. Coming up next, enjoy the second half.
Yeah, the Huskies fired up their season opener. They've won 22 of those in a row. And Debbie, let's take a look back at the key moving pictures from the first half.
Well, I think Ohio State needs to convert a little bit better in the paint. If they had done so, they would be in a little bit closer striking margin here. But they only made 7 baskets in the first half. They missed more than 7 shots in the paint. This is the right game plan against Connecticut. You have to attack on the interior. You got to put some pressure on their back row defensively. And because when you miss a layup or a shot in the paint, UConn is transitioning the other way. It's sort of like a turnover. Even Michaela Waterman, who's trying to sprint back, but Nafisa Collier has already gone and making an easy shot. UConn scored 21 points off 15 Ohio State first half turnovers, and that's not a recipe for success.
No, it's not. Top scorer for the Buckeyes is Carly Santoro with 6. Carmen Grande, their outstanding point guard, 18 minutes. 1 of 9 for 2 points. But her key number is 4 assists. And for UConn, Walker with 13, Samuelson with 12, Collier with 10, Dangerfield with 9 to lead the charge. Great to have you with us here with Debbie Antonelli. My name is Ben Holden. Mike Pittman, our producer, John Coleman, our director, and all of our great crew. We appreciate their efforts here on this Sunday afternoon. Great to have you with us wherever you're watching this one today. Here is Grande. Waterman. Grande will try it from downtown. Waterman rebound and gets one inside. She had missed a handful of in-close buckets, but got that one, Debbie.
Well, Michaela Waterman defended Katie Lou Samuelson on that last set as well as you can. High hands over the top of the screen. Make her put it on the floor. You got to force UConn to dribble. You can't let them do this. Catch and shoot. They're too dangerous that way.
Good hustle by Santoro to get the rebound.
And if you're Kevin McGuff, you're not playing to the scoreboard right now. You're trying to improve your team. So you're looking at pieces of the game that you can put on film and that you can learn from. So you pick it apart every possession and try to do a better job. Right here, going inside. See, that's the game plan. It is the game plan to attack UConn. You got to be able to execute it. Watch Michaela Waterman right here. Okay, freeze it right here. Okay, watch her. She's going to get her hands up on the screen. Okay, as her hands come up, Katie Lou cannot shoot over the top. So you make her put it on the floor. She moves her feet and you force her to take a tough shot. That is as well defended as you can possibly defend Katie Lou off the ball screen. That was an excellent job. But now I'm going to tell you this right now. Megan Walker better hold that screen better.
Right.
Because you got Katie Lou shooting behind you.
Right. Juhas gets them both. Boca Juhas, freshman, 6'4", tallest on the Buckeye roster. Product of Hungary. One of the top international players coming into the women's game this season. Collier down the lane and draws the contact there on her way to the bucket.
See, I'm going to tell you right now, in the pinch, hitches the elbows, and Collier catches it there. Forget about it. You can't guard this. Ben, no one is going to guard this.
No.
One dribble, strong to the rim. Nafisa Collier is too good and too committed, too strong around the hoop. That pinch post right there, there's a lot of players in the women's college game that you can put there and that you can't guard them. And Nafisa Collier is one of them.
Tough to handle, tough to stop. This the second. 50 to 23 is Carmen Grande. Most assist of any active player in Division I, men's or women's. 710 assists to this point in her career. Miller inside with a lefty, no good off the glass. Trying to get a handle. It came free to Dangerfield. Williams, 14-foot pull-up, no good.
Good rebound.
Yep. Miller.
Push. You got numbers. This is one of the first times they've had a transition opportunity.
Really is. Kick out in the corner. Santoro spit out on her though. Rebounded by Waterman. Good hustle by her. She's battling.
I'm going to say Santoro, when she goes back and watches the film, you had one more, because you had Grande who could step into a catch and shoot three.
Right.
How about UConn? They get what they want. They stop Ohio State from scoring. They get to set their defense.
Exactly. Leading by 27 are the Huskies. Santoro. The kick into the corner, and good as Waterman comes out and knocks one down from downtown, and it's 50-26 now.
That's her first three of the season.
Can't stop it. Collier, too easy.
Well, you got to jump to the ball.
Yep.
If you don't jump to the ball and make Collier go behind you on that basket cut, you're going to lose out on a layup.
Exactly what happened there.
How about Waterman playing the third quarter? She's been aggressive.
She really has. For three, Santoro knocks it down for the Buckeyes.
You can sense Ohio State has a little bit better rhythm to what they're doing offensively.
They do. Walker. Samuelson came in, tried to get it. The ball, though, last touch by Samuelson, I believe. It goes over to Ohio State. Yeah, Waterman's played hard.
She has the most experience for any player inside Kevin McGuff's system on the floor. Too quick.
Try for three again. Collier no good. There's Waterman again, battling. Tip free, though, to Walker, who got it ahead for Katie Lou Samuelson. And Afisa Collier. Again, you can't stop that. Tough to defend.
It's relentless. I mean, you know, you can't take a break. You cannot take a breath. You know, UConn is coming right back.
You blink and you're going to get beat. There's Grande. Uhas tries it for three, no good. Down on the deck, Waterman continues to battle, but she can't come away with it. Now Crystal Dangerfield. Megan Walker, Collier calls for it, gets it. And the freshman, the bull by from Williams there. Oh, she's special.
I mean, UConn really hasn't had to run any offense. They're getting everything in their transition game or off their secondary.
She is fun to watch. Kristen Williams, the top recruit in the nation.
Remember I said it's not a first step, it's a first thrust.
That's true. You did say that, yes, and it was there. As that one goes, Santoro having a good start to this third quarter, Debbie.
Back-to-back baskets for Carly.
Deficit 25 for Ohio State. Dangerfield. Collier's going to try it up top. Santoro continues to work, track the rebound down. 3 years at Bowling Green, played in 89 games, started 61, was their top player for junior and sophomore seasons. There's Waterman. She's a worker, and off the foot, and now a battle for it. Going to be UConn's ball.
I'm telling you right now, Michaela Waterman has done all the dirty work. She goes to the glass hard. She's been on the floor twice in this quarter. She's hit a three. Hustling.
Psychology major at Ohio State. Says she wants to get into coaching. Her grandfather was a former Ohio State assistant. So it's in her blood. Hard-nosed competitor. Waterman with 9 and 9. And Collier again. Too easy. Grande.
Look at the length in the zone.
Yeah.
Everybody high hands on the catch. That time Collier doesn't get a closeout, and Ohio State gets all the way to the rim. But this is what you got to deal with. Nafisa Collier, layup drill. Kristen Williams, layup drill. Welcome back to Gamble Pavilion. UConn with a commanding lead, and today is Veterans Day, so CBS Sports supports all our veterans. We thank everyone for our service, for their service to our great country. And this is Crystal Dangerfield's parents, her dad, Chris, her mom, Devonna, and we have another special veteran in the house tonight. That's my partner right there, Ben Holden. What a great looking shot, Ben. Thank you so much for everything you do for our country, and thank you for your service, and we thank your family for your service as well.
Well, that's very kind of you, and I want to, since we're on the topic, my great-grandfather won a Purple Heart during the Battle of the Bulge. He was a medic, so here's to you, great-grandpa Dewey. My grandpa Holden served in the Army, and my cousin Mike did as well, so thanks for doing that, guys. That was nice of you. It's a surprise to me.
I had a chance to meet General Darrell Williams at West Point.
He's a great guy, yeah.
Terrific guy, and he told us that, you know, when you're traveling around the country and you see people that are serving our country, you can tell them thank you for your service, but you also should tell them thank your families.
Absolutely.
For the service. So I've learned that. So I'm thanking you.
Well, that was very kind of you.
And everyone in the truck, same thing.
Thanks to all the folks in our truck. That was a total surprise. Thanks. And tied up down on the deck here is Grande. They're going to get possession of it. My first look at her, you've seen her before, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen her on film. I haven't seen her in person. I'm impressed. I think she's a solid point guard. Obviously, for me, point guards answer the 3 W's. Who to get the ball to, when, and where. And if you're the active assist leader, you understand personnel.
Yeah. I liked her line. She said, when you get an assist, more than one person's happy. It's simple, but she's right. There's Waterman playing really hard today. Here's Grande trying from deep off the heel, rebounded by Samuelson.
Ohio State has really struggled shooting the ball in the early part of the season, but they're getting some shots that they should make.
Samuelson, no good. 18-footer.
And they will get better at that.
Quickly ahead to Santoro, playing really well to start the half.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yep. And Katie Lou Samuelson. She's asking, but the foul's called on her.
Katie Lou has already drawn 2 charges today. And this time she's just late getting there, and Santoro does a good job of attacking.
Second personal, 4th on the team.
Santoro. Looks like she may fit in well to this Ohio State scheme. The Barnstormers, as you've called them.
I love it, the Barnstormers. I think it's a name that they should celebrate, you know, and it's a name that they've taken advantage of the graduate transfer rule in college basketball, where if you complete your undergraduate degree and you have a year of eligibility, you can be eligible right away in another place.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'd say about that rule is if I'm a mid-major school, I'm not paying for summer school anymore.
Right.
I mean, summer school used to be for those that needed help staying eligible and stay on track to graduate.
Correct.
Summer school wasn't meant to graduate early so you could take advantage of the rule.
Yeah.
Just something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with you getting your master's degree. I think that's terrific.
He's hitting the deck all over. Ohio State's crooms down. Samuelson went down. Yeah, you see it in football. You see it in the men's game as well.
Yeah, why would you pay for somebody to stay on campus and go to summer school?
Yeah.
I mean, most players, Division I athletes, a lot of them, men and women, if you ask them what a 1099 and a W-2 is, they're going to think it's a play your coach is calling. What defense is W-2?
Wait, I thought
no, that's a tax form.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to have a job so you can build a resume so that you have a life after college. Not everyone's going to play professionally.
Right. Dangerfield, she may well.
Well, she is.
Right, there's a few, but your point is very valid. I have a senior in high school, so I can relate.
Well, and then the 8-hour rule. We can go in a whole other direction. I'm not going to do that right now. But the amount of time that coaches actually get to spend with their players during the summer. Now, Coach Auriemma, he wants his players here because he's helping his players become professionals. Most of the players that come here at UConn, if you come here as an All-American, you're going to be a professional. If you work hard enough.
Exactly. You got to put the work in. Amazing to think that in Gino's first year, 85-86, he was 12 and 15. I mean, I look things up like that when you deal with a coach that's had as much success as he has. 10 years into his tenure, they won their first national championship. Some coaches never win one.
I mean, I look at Coach Oriental, and I think, you know, he's got a culture of not good, a culture of great.
Yeah.
And they don't aspire here, they expect.
Right.
It's a big difference.
Yep.
You know, he's a guy that started out his career coaching high school basketball.
Yeah.
Worked as in the steel mills, worked as a truck driver, worked construction.
Yep.
Nothing came easy to him early on. He's worked for it.
Yep. Dangerfield, that was beautiful. Just a pretty looking play by Crystal Dangerfield.
I mean, they can score any way they want. They can play any tempo they want. North, south, east, west. Good screen off the top.
Grande with a floater that rimmed out.
Yeah, Grande just can't make a bucket today.
Ahead for Williams, touch pass, Samuelson inside, and was trying to go back up top. But off the back of the backboard, here's Dangerfield her last time.
See, we've seen Crystal Dangerfield, little in out, little crossover, layup.
She is something special, and her folks, as we just showed you a few moments ago, veterans, making them proud. Samuelson sticks there.
Really good screening work coming off that double. Good screens, good timing. Katie Lou Samuelson in rhythm.
Not a good combination for the opposition.
Well, I mean, she's such a great scorer. That's why it was surprising that she made missed a free throw. I mean, that's incredible. She's wide open ahead of the ball.
They come away with it. Dangerfield pulls it back out. Now they go back into Walker. Walker triple teamed.
Yeah, she dribbled into the traffic.
She did. Handled here by Janae Crooms. She got some hop in her step. Those Crooms. Waterman trying to work it down to the baseline to Grande, taken away by Williams. 2-on-1 here. Dangerfield. Walker lays it back. What a pass to Samuelson, and then the Samuelson look to Walker. They couldn't convert, but pretty passing.
High entertainment value here. Numbers for UConn. A little touch pass by Katie Lou. Going to the free throw line. Megan Walker.
Megan Walker to
So 1:02 remaining in this third quarter. Walker good on the first. And coming up Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, UConn Hoops alum Swin Cash and the rest of the women of We Need to Talk are taking it to the hoop as they sit down with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. They'll talk about the current climate of the league right here on CBS Sports Network.
Really interesting time for the WNBA. And Swin Cash, who was an All-American here, has won several WNBA titles, who has won a couple of gold medals. She is a fantastic representative of UConn basketball. Of course, she's a panelist on We Need to Talk.
Yes.
But the WNBA really challenging. They opted out of the players' union agreement, collective bargaining agreement. They've got one more year left in the existing deal, but they got to clean up their messaging. They've got to straighten up their leadership. There's not a president in the WNBA right now. They do those two things, and I think they set themselves off for a new branding.
Good to hear.
It's great. I mean, the product is as good as it's ever been.
Yeah.
And Breanna Stewart, who we talked about and showed you earlier, she was the MVP of the league and won 4 national championships.
Yes.
While she was here at UConn. She won the WNBA title alongside Sue Bird this year, and Kalena Mosquito-Lewis on that roster as well.
Yeah. Nice three there by Adriana Miller for Ohio State to make it 66-39. Knocked out of bounds there by Dorka Juhas, the 6'4" Hungarian product there.
See that play right there, Megan Walker will learn. You know, if you ball fake that action to Kylie Irwin on that cut to the bucket, you're going to be able to dribble behind her and penetrate.
Kristen Williams had the ball. The foul is going to be Naja Queenland with 18.6 remaining in the quarter.
First on Queenland.
Williams at the line.
Ohio State foul this quarter over the limit.
Talking about Collier and all her success, and Williams, gold medal winner on the under-18 team in 2018. Collier on the bench right now for the Huskies.
Oh, this is a question mark for UConn working on their depth. So you look at Katie Lou Samuelson and Nafisa Collier and Crystal Dangerfield sitting on the bench. Those are the 3 best players. You get some young players, some quality minutes here.
Yeah. 9 seconds of the quarter, under 10 now. Shot clock is off. Grande for UHaas, and there you go. Exactly how they want to get her the basketball inside. Use that 6'4" frame. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Katie Lou Samuelson and UConn on top of Ohio State in their season opener. 68-41. The 4th quarter coming up when we come back.
My goal for this team is to enjoy every little success that we have. Some other teams that we've had here, while Lou and Nafisa have been here, their thoughts is only about April. I think now I want them to not miss out on anything along the way. So what will happen between now and April, I don't know, but I'm anxious to find out.
It's great. Wants those seniors to go out the right way, and it's a game at a time, right? It's been a long time since UConn lost a home opener. You got to go all the way back to 90 when Iowa got them. A season opener 95 against the Big Ten, Michigan State in 04. Joanne P. McCauley, I believe, was still there as their head coach. And a regular season game there at the bottom with Stanford, and just remarkable.
Coach Auriemma always says, you know, we're going to continue to win. We're going to win another championship. None of this is going to affect me, but it could affect the lives of my players, and that's truly what he means when he says that. I mean, his lifestyle isn't going to change, but these young players, it can.
Slow to get up was Dangerfield. Sorry, Debbie.
Yeah, right here, just gets caught coming off that screen at the top, gets caught on the bridge of the nose, and good job of the officials not to look at it. There's nothing to look at.
Nothing to see here.
Right, they do a good job.
Molly Bent, number 10, has checked into the game for UConn. Walker wanted it inside. Coombs didn't go to her, though. Now Dangerfield up top. Healed it, tapped alive, kept alive by Coombs. Good save by Bent on the sideline.
Good hustle by Molly Bent. Doesn't get a whole lot of playing time, but there's a player that Gino Auriemma always talks about. One of the hardest workers in practice.
Nice pass inside to Walker, knocked away though, and into the hands of Carmen Grande.
Good D by the Buckeyes.
Miller inside, no good. UHaas the rebound, and that one's good.
You see now Ohio State's playing against a team right now on the floor that would be more similar to teams they might see on their schedule.
Right.
When you don't have the big 3 out there on the floor together.
Yep.
You have Crystal Dangerfield.
Yep. 2/3 of said big 3 are on the bench right now in the order of Collier and Samuelson.
Now the Buckeyes of 14, Dorka UHaas.
Molly Bent there out of Centerville, Mass. Just a point and a rebound. Her averages, as you said, doesn't play much, and a good opportunity to continue to build more depth, get her some playing time in this contest that has UConn up by 25 here in the 4th. Dangerfield sticks it.
I mean, it didn't even hit the rim.
No.
You know, one of the players that we haven't seen a lot of minutes for UConn is Olivia Nelson Dodo.
No, you're right.
Dodo is a 6'4" freshman with a lot of size and a lot of potential.
Number 5 recruit in the nation, product of the state of Georgia. And we'll take a look back at Dangerfield and that great touch, Debbie.
See, watch how Dangerfield recognizes the switch. She's got 6'4" on her. Great decision to take that shot.
We'll take a timeout here. 8:10 remaining in the ball game. UConn up 71-43 on Ohio State. Early stages of quarter number 4. Number 2, UConn on top of Ohio State, 71-43. CBS Sports Network back on the hardwood tomorrow night at 8 Eastern with men's hoops as the Oklahoma Sooners battle The Roadrunners of UTSA right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports, and Christian James taking over for Trae Young. No easy task. That's what he did last season. Will be a key, as he will be on most nights for the Sooners. And Crystal Dangerfield, Debbie, she's gotten plenty of looks, and she's made some big buckets today.
Well, I talked about the 3 W's of who to get the ball to, when, and where. She certainly understands tempo and rhythm. She knows personnel, and she has a shot-making mentality from the top of the offense. Gives UConn another great weapon on the offensive end of the floor. She's 7 for 10 today with 16 points, and a nice present for her parents on Veterans Day.
No question about it. Thank them for their service as Santoro beats the shot clock. What a beauty that was.
What a great smile.
She's had a strong second half for Ohio State and head coach Kevin McGuff. Walker. That's by Waterman. Irwin center. Screen there on her, allowed her to get free. Molly Bent had it knocked away. Walker saves it. Dangerfield, shot clock under 5, launches. Front rim, and it's tracked by Grande. Grande gives it up and into the corner. The 3 no good. Rebound by Dangerfield. Coombs. Block called on the inside on Miller.
And see, that's where Ohio State will get better in their transition defense. UConn walking the ball up the court, which is not typically what you'll see. I'm sure Coach Auriemma in the 4th quarter wants to work with this group in their quarter-court offense.
Yeah.
But you've got to get back and you've got to match up.
When
you play teams at this caliber, UConn, Notre Dame, Louisville, Oregon, Baylor, I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
You can't make back-to-back mistakes. And UConn does have an interesting schedule this year. They will go on the road to play Notre Dame, Louisville, and Baylor.
Ooh. Those games will be fun to watch, no doubt about it. Here's Coombs on the run. Steps in a little tighter and just can't get it to go. The rebound conveniently right into the hands of Irwin,
Nice.
though.
That's a great play by Walker.
Yeah.
Good hustle. Watch the way UConn runs their offense. The ball only hits the floor upon necessity.
Dangerfield again.
Improve your range. Now she knows with this group on the floor, she's looking for her own offense.
Samuelson across from us at the scoring area. Getting set to check back into the game. Next stoppage. That's a play that won't make the coach happy. No look over the head, behind the back, and here's Irwin on the assist from Dangerfield. That was pretty.
I think Crystal Dangerfield's one of those players that never looks like she breaks a sweat.
She really does.
You know, she's so smooth.
Look that way, yeah, she is. She's fun to watch. Got an electricity to her that's fun. And play stopped, and let's look back at that last sequence.
Turnover, live ball. Molly Bent gets the ball in the middle of the floor. Great finish by Irwin.
Yes.
On number 5, Crystal Dangerfield. 4th on Dangerfield.
So Dangerfield with 18 and 5, 4 assists. She's got
one timeout on the floor.
You know, while they're going to the monitor, I always think this is an interesting decision for Coach Auriemma, because, you know, most games they have a commanding lead late in the game. So do you want to play your players for rhythm, or do you want to develop depth? And then I really think he feels a responsibility to the entertainment value that his team brings to this environment. And so at some point he goes, you know, I can only watch so much. I got to get my guys back in the game.
Right, right.
You know, I think that it's a real conundrum for him every game.
When you look around this place, there are not many empty seats. When this game started, Dangerfield on the bench getting tended to.
Because, to my point, you risk this.
Right.
Dangerfield sitting on the end of the bench with the trainers.
Yep.
I tell you what, it's been entertaining. I love coming here. The breaks, Red Panda, honoring Chris Daly before the game. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
My first trip here, and it's quite an environment. Looking around here, and Dangerfield still in pain. Took a shot to the face there.
Well, we've seen UConn players play with a mask if her nose is ever an issue. Sue Bird played the good portion of the postseason for the WNBA champion Seattle Storm with a mask. Nice finish.
Rip Hamilton, a former UConn guy, men's side, but he played a lot of his career with one. That's just the Michigan and me coming out. Here's Samuelson up top. Got it.
That's a layup.
Yep.
Layup drill.
The lead is back to 30 for UConn with a little more than 5 to play in the game. Janae Crooms with it. For Uhas, for Santoro, who's had a really good second half for Ohio State. She's played hard, made some big buckets, tries a little righty floater there, got the roll.
See, and you know you can build confidence. If you can do that against UConn, you'll be able to do that against other teams on your schedule.
Here's Irwin, takes a look inside. It was deflected, and they still got it to go. Samuelson. And it's going your way, it's going your way.
You got the full value today of your ticket if you were a UConn fan in this building.
Yeah.
Just the beginning of what could be a great journey for this team. And I love that soundbite from Coach Oriema about making sure that Lou and Fisa, is what he calls them, enjoys their seniors campaign.
Trying the corner, no good for Uhas, and saving that was Coombs. Good work by her.
And as far as Ohio State goes, they are going to be fine. I think Kevin McGuff is going to have a great time coaching this group, and you're going to see immediate improvement.
Third game of the season for him. Third this week, in fact. Played USF and lost to them, and then beat Detroit Friday.
Katie Lou, it's what I call a layup drill for her, an uncontested triple, because UConn moves the ball so well. And then a nice backdoor. 30-point lead for the Huskies.
Some of the best sights from the game so far. Appreciate our tape room putting that together, and our line score by quarter has UConn up by 30 here late in the fourth quarter. And last month in October, well, UConn made a trip to West Point, about 2.5 hours away from here. Had a chance to talk with Army football coach Jeff Monken about it the other day. Dave McGarity, the basketball coach over there, said to Monken, he saw me, he said, "You got about 3 minutes, I want you to meet Gino Oriema." He said, "Absolutely." The next thing you know, Gino's in talking to Monken's team, and he said, Jeff Monken said, the biggest thing he took away from listening to Oriema and talking with him was the humility it takes a team to bond.
Yeah, Coach Oriema is so great about teaching intangibles. He used the word selfish a lot because he wants his team to be unselfish. You know, Dave McGarity, the head coach at Army on the women's side, he's a terrific guy. He's done a wonderful job with that program as well. One of my favorite Army players, Aaron Anthony. Coach McGarity's listening. He knows.
Second personal, 15 foul.
3:23 left in the game.
32.
And at the free throw line, Natuli Kamara. Debbie, surprise teams to keep an eye on.
Yeah, keep an eye on these teams. DePaul is a team that is going to go further in the NCAA tournament than they've ever gone. I like Miami's chances with their backcourt with some experience. Katie Meyer has a good, balanced team. And then West Virginia, right on the cusp. I think they got a couple of WNBA players, and Tyneese Martin was off injury last year and is back. Great scorer. All those teams can score.
I like the way Bruno's teams play. Had them a couple times last year.
They've won 5 consecutive Big East titles. They'll get a challenge this year from Marquette, a former assistant for Katie Meyer.
Right.
This is going to be interesting to watch those teams. I'm excited about special years that each of them could have. And the other, in the American, you know, South Florida, Jose Fernandez has a team that will be the most prepared. As Kylie Irwin hits a jumper in the corner for 3.
Sticks it.
Jose Fernandez will have a plan. He has a team that's best equipped to have a chance. UConn has never lost a game in the American Conference.
Amazing.
And he's got a great score in Kitty Loxka. Loxka is a big time. I think she's an All-American.
96-0 to your point since they joined the American in 13-14. I mean, that's just, it adds to the amount of mind-boggling numbers and statistics and accomplishments and feats that UConn has had. It's just incredible to me.
You got to take care of the basketball. You've got to keep UConn from scoring in transition and make them run their set offense. And in the American, as I said, Jose Fernandez with Kitty Loxka has the best chance of any team in that league to maybe get a W.
So less than 2 to go in this one. And you mentioned number 20 for UConn earlier, Olivia Nelson-Adota, number 5 recruit in the nation right there. She certainly altered that shot. Oh, the final 4 banners, 19 of them, 11 in a row. 11 consecutive Final Fours for Gina Auriemma.
You know, anybody outside of the UConn family would say factory, machine,
right.
You know, robotic.
Right.
If you're inside the UConn, and I'm not saying I am, I just watching them practice. It's not any of that.
Right.
You know, there's no secret formula over there. There's hard work, there's consistency, there's a demand of execution.
Accountability.
Accountability, all of that.
Yep. Humility, like we talked about with Jeff Monken, the Army football coach.
Team before self.
Yep.
You know, UConn's never had a player average over 20 points a game.
That's a team. That's the first thing I think when you say that.
And the other thing is, you know, Rebecca Lobo is one of their Hall of Famers and a colleague of ours. She's the only player over the course of 4 years to average a double-double here.
Wow.
A 4-year career, but averaging a double-double.
It's incredible.
I think Nafisa Collier will be a double-double this season.
Standing talent. Here's Carmen Grande, good one for Ohio State. Waterman, she's really played hard today. Left it all on the floor for the Buckeyes.
You're going to come away from this game looking at the score. You're going to say, oh, Ohio State's not as talented.
Right.
They're much better than they were in the film that I've watched. And that's saying something against this team, which is really hard to measure what your season could be.
Right. Lexi Gordon with a basketball foul called on Grande. Here's the upcoming schedule, Debbie. Your thoughts on those games they've got in front of them coming up?
Well, I think immediately I look to the DePaul game and Notre Dame. You know, DePaul will be here. It's a challenge to come in here and win, but on the road at Notre Dame, I think everyone in college basketball will have that one circled based on the way those two teams compete. And when they play, there is a lot on the line.
Yes. I will be watching that one. I'll have UConn, I believe, their next game when they go back to St. Louis. I love what Gino Auriemma does with his seniors. Collier's going back home. I did the game last year in Reno, and Williams went back home in a sellout, most attended women's sporting event in the history of the state of Nevada. I mean, that's the kind of draw that UConn is. For those that don't know, it's just amazing.
Well, there is certainly an entertainment value. There's a high skill level. There's a team that is well prepared, well coached. Chris Daly, of course, a Hall of Famer alongside
another Hall of Famer.
Shay Ralph is another assistant who's ready to be a head coach whenever she decides. And then Jasmine Lister is her first year. There's Shay. Shay has a brilliant basketball mind. She is well prepared for the next step whenever she decides that she wants to be a head coach. She's on the short list for many.
I'm sure. For the final minute, UConn on their way to a 1-0 start and their 23rd consecutive season-opening win. Ohio State, third game this week. And a Tuesday game with top 25 team that Debbie mentioned a few moments ago in USF, and then played Detroit on Friday. They got their first win of the season, and a block called inside there.
Everybody clap your hands.
And that foul called on Batuli Kamara. So the freshman Aaliyah Patty out of suburban Chicago at the free throw line here with 16.8 to go in the game.
As far as the Big Ten goes, we talked about the American. You know, Brenda Freese in Maryland is the pick to win that league. They are terrific. She's got a very good, balanced offensive team. She gets Blair Williams back, who was off injury last year. Megan Gustafson at Iowa is the preseason pick for Player of the Year. Iowa and Lisa Bluter, who's the dean of that league, has a terrific team. Get a chance to see them later in November at Notre Dame. I'm excited about that. And then Lindsay Whalen from Minnesota.
Yeah.
You can't talk about the Big Ten without mentioning Minnesota now. They sold out their home opener.
It's impressive. UConn, 23 consecutive season opening wins. Gino Auriemma and his team get it done, 85-53. They defeat Ohio State here. They're 5-0 all time against the Buckeyes. And UConn's off to a 1-0 start in 2018-2019. Little step aside, come back with more here from Gamble Pavilion, where UConn's a winner in their season opener, 85-53 over the Buckeyes. They're happy here in stores at Gamble Pavilion, 85-53. UConn wins their season opener, 23rd consecutive year they've done that. Their head coach standing by on the court with Debbie Antonelli. Debbie.
All right, Coach. Season opening win, a new season, a new start. Some of the same people that we're accustomed to seeing over the course of your career here in the last 4 years with your seniors. What did you like about what you saw today on the offensive end?
Well, I'm glad you didn't say anything about the defensive end, but you know, that's kind of what I expected. I expected you know, Lou and Feast and Crystal to have big games, you know, and they've been doing a lot of great things offensively in practice, and they're really talented. I think having Megan this year gives them, you know, gives us another dimension, you know, a big guard, a big forward, small forward, whatever you want to call it. So we did exactly what I thought we'd do on the offensive end. So I'm really pleased with that.
You've been doing this a long time. How much can you read about what happened today and the way you played and what it can mean projected forward?
Well, you know, I like the kind of shots that we got for the most part, you know, but you know, defensively you can see how much work needs to be done, and it doesn't take a whole lot of investigating to realize that we got some issues, you know, that we have to address, and I think that's why you play these games, you know. A couple years ago we played them at their place, and I wasn't worried about anything, you know, and this is a different team. We got some issues that we have to keep addressing every day, and we're, you know, we're getting better. We're better now than we were 2 weeks ago, so that's all I'm caring about.
Coach, people are going to look at your team. They look at your personnel. You think you have issues. There's not a lot of people that are going to believe you have issues. Yeah. What issues would you be talking about?
Well, I think when you notice that we didn't get much when we substituted, so that puts a lot of pressure on our starters. And we can't foul, and we've got a couple kids getting in foul trouble today. So, you know, our margin of error is very, very small. The 5 players that we have in the start lineup are really, really good. So if you tell me, listen, none of them are going to foul out, none of them are going to get hurt, nobody's going to sprain their ankle, then I'll tell you we don't have any issues. But I don't think like that.
Well, Coach, thanks for having us here today.
All right, Deb, thank you.
All right, Gino Auriemma there with Debbie Antonelli. We appreciate Gino taking a couple of minutes to come over and chat with us. And his team victorious today as they get the job done, 85-53. Katie Lou Samuelson, 19. Dangerfield, 18. Collier with 17. Walker with 15 to lead the UConn charge. Ohio State led by Santoro. Waterman had 11, and Miller with 10. in the loss for Ohio State. Again, our final score, 85-53. UConn, they've won 23 straight season openers. For Debbie Antonelli, our entire crew, our producer Mike Pittman, our director John Coleman, my name is Ben Holden. Hope you enjoyed it. It was our pleasure to bring it to you. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.